the question is, what moved us into making strategies for affordable access to housing? Actually, there are a lot of challenges that are faced by grassroots women. I may give an example, because myself I'm a true example of an infected person of HIV and AIDS. So when I lost my husband in 1999 to AIDS, I faced all the challenges of life. My children were too young, and then the family of my husband looked at me as if I was the cause of the problem. So I was looked at as someone who should just quit the house and then get somewhere else to go. My youngest child was 2 years and a half, and my eldest son was 9 years. But none of my in-laws could stand in to say, how can we take care of this family when the person who has been a breadwinner has left her? But they were looking at the property that is in the house. And which property? Indeed, it was land, because in my house we had few things. But immediately we buried my husband, and 2 days I saw my mother-in-law coming in and saying, out of this place. I have some little education. I was an administrator in the office. I was working, but because of the torture and then the nursing of my husband I went through, I had lost all hope for life. I had even lost all my brothers and sisters that brought me to town. Then my mother was like remaining with 3 children of hers. But despite all that, the in-laws who would stand with me during the time of grief with my children were wanting me to get out of this land so that they could own it. And then what happens is, what kind of land am I talking about? My mother-in-law gave us this piece of land when my husband was leaving. We had so many meetings with her, and she was like, I've given you this land. And she showed us to elders. But by then, we could not take an initiative of registering or having or owning this land lawfully. So my husband trusted the mother so much that she was like, my mother gave me this land. We all knew that. He even made a valid will to say that the land was given to me by my mother, and when I died, it will belong to my children, not even to my wife. And then the mother was like, no, this is not true. So we didn't have any lawful ownership of this land. And lucky enough, I was advised to go to the Administrator General to get letters of administration by my uncle, who is a lawyer in town. So this is how I have managed to live on this land for the last 10 years now, after the death of my husband. After going through that, I witnessed seeing those old women and young and men inclusive coming to me, comforting me. So what did I have to do is to sit down and see a way forward for my life, because my children were quite young, and then I needed to stand, yet I was ailing. So how did I come about forming an initiative in a community? So I just had to talk to friends about problems associated with HIV and AIDS, as in social and economic issues. So we came together as self-help to see how we can help each other come out of the problems. And then, because many of us are either infected, affected, or have some other socio-economic problems, then we came together and decided to form up a community initiative, that is Runguja Community Healthcare Organization, to see that we can help each other. But not only us, but even the community at large. So we have gone through a series of activities in the community to where we are now. Basically starting with home-based care, like finding the sick persons in the community, helping them. In fact, we set up a clinic. I offered a small room where we are giving treatment to these people who are infected and affected. So why women's rights? Given my story about how I was almost evicted out of this home. Think about a woman in the community who doesn't speak this English I can speak. Because the laws are in English, she can't read them. She doesn't know even where to go once someone stands up on her. When she's crying of the dead husband, someone is taking the property from the house. So, this is why we combined efforts at community level to see how we help each other. And moreover, none of us is a lawyer. So we needed to network, to do a lot of networking in the community to see how we support each other or how we are supported through faith-based organizations, through national organizations, local initiatives that are dealing with human rights. So, as you are aware, in Africa, most especially culturally, women don't own property. They don't inherit. Even when they are debating about land or property, you are left out. Even in my clan, I'm not even supposed to talk because I'm a woman, I'm a girl. There are so many things that are associated with women's inability to acquire property and land. Women have a lot of work they are doing, but it is unpaid for. She stays with her husband for 20 years and then her husband says, go out of this place. You have been eating my food for nothing, yet she's been taking care of the home for 20 years. So our work is unpaid for. And we are so sympathetic and passionate to serving. I'm sure you know all about that. Women cannot afford to borrow money because the problem, we don't have property. And now, if I borrowed money from you, be it a microfinance, I need a security to put there. Where will I get a security when I don't have property in the house? The property belongs to man. And what we are facing in Uganda, women are securing men's property and then the domestic violence. Battery. Who told you to put my TV? That is my radio. Did you come with any property? Get out of this house. Or women are killed. So there are a lot of problems associated with this. People cannot, women are not, doesn't surface anywhere in leadership positions to debate about issues that concern them. These are the grassroots women. So why did we have to come together? We decided to form an alliance of home-based care givers to identify or to map the different problems that we face or are faced with in the communities. Right from HIV and AIDS, social and economic problems, human rights, name it. And through this alliance, we've managed to do a lot. And now we are here talking about women's rights. The first thing that we have taken into consideration is training women, building their capacities to know what happens if your husband died yesterday. And then, where could you go? We are training them or we are empowering them to have knowledge as to where to access justice. So what we have done in Uganda is training community paralegals that can do as watchdogs, listen very carefully what is happening in your community and then hope to document, hope to report, hope to refer such cases. What else, what other strategy have we done? We have done a lot of strategies, but because of time. Yes. So we have made a very strong network that can lobby and advocate. And then people are listening, are hearing that there are women who are doing a lot of work in the communities. And then self-help groups. We fundraise little money that we can afford, put in one pool and see how we can borrow it from one to another. So I was rushing because of time. So that is what some of the strategies. Okay.